page. Excellent. And now we are recording. So this is perfect. So we're bouncing out in a few different places this morning here on the Good Food Network. I'm your holistic nutrition practitioner. My name is Luca. That's nice. Okay. Hi. This is what today's session is about. If you're catching this live on Facebook, if you're watching the replay, if you're catching the replay on YouTube, excuse me, it doesn't matter. I haven't talked yet today. Got my cup of tea. I'm good. Doesn't matter where you're catching this. This next little bit is going to be about what's happening in the Good Food Network this month. So you want to stick around if you're struggling with adrenal health, if you're not sure that you're struggling with adrenal health, if you want to know more about what your adrenals do, and if you've been curious to join the Good Food Network but haven't yet done so. If you've checked it out, if you've thought, geez, I don't know if this is for me or not. If you've caught yourself thinking, yeah, when I have more time, I'll sign up for this. Or I know I want to do some nutrition pieces to help support my body. I have these kinds of symptoms going on. I would like to address it. This is a session for you. This is how you know that today is about you. Hello, I'm Luca. I'm your holistic nutrition practitioner. I've been doing this since 2014. I love what I do. I love the power of food, and I've seen it myself shift for me, and the power I see how it shifts things in humans. I get the absolute pleasure and honor to work with. So we're talking about adrenals this month in the Good Food Network. So I've got a list of questions here. This is always how we start these orientation sessions. Okay, well, I mean, it's nice to take you for a tour through the network, but like, how are you going to know the network is for you? You got to figure that out first. Okay, the Good Food Network is shifting, first thing, a little bit, and it's going to keep shifting because it's a living entity. It is nothing set in stone, and it changes based on the needs of the people who are in the network, and if I'm listening correctly to the requests from people. Some of the requests I got from the feedback in the fall sessions was that the content changed over so quickly, it was a little bit overwhelming. So I hear you. I've heard you, and we're shifting it. We're shifting it to be a little bit more amenable. I cut the price almost in half a month ago. We're going to continue on the same price. It's 55 Canadian plus GST a month. And what we're doing now is instead of doing just a focus for 1 month, we're extending it to 2 months. So there's going to be a lot more different kinds of things. And you may want to come at this from everything that's covered or just a little bit of what is covered. You get to choose. What I mean by that is January and February, we are dedicating to adrenals. Adrenals is a big thing. We are in the season of looking after the adrenals in terms of traditional Chinese medicine. It's exactly the season to look into it. So it makes all the sense. We're in the season of hibernation. We're in the season of going inwards. We're in the season of laying low. Do you know what is one of the best things for the adrenals? Taking her easy. Oh, so that's actually what we're going to do in the network as well. So we're going to talk about adrenals in January and February. In January, we are going to focus on lots of different things. You'll get to see what it is exactly we'll be doing. In February, I am contemplating going the route of more fatigue and energy levels. If there's anything that resonates with you today and you'd rather see that in the month of February, jot it down in the comments below. As we go through some of these questions, you can ask yourself, and then I'll put together the content that people want to see and hear and go through for themselves. So let's get into it. Adrenals. First thing, how do you know you have adrenal issues? Well, if you keep checking out your hair in the mirror. Okay. No, I'm kidding. I'm joking. Who could benefit from support via nutrition when it comes to adrenals? Okay. If you say yes to, I want you to grab a pen and a piece of paper, and I want you to put a check mark for any and all of these that you say, oh, yeah, I've got that. And then we're going to count your check marks at the end. Okay. I have quite a bit. I've got 26. I can't count in English. I know. Okay, so here we go. How many check marks do you get? Do you say yes to, I struggle with fatigue. I find it hard to get out of bed in the morning. I feel stress keenly. I have trouble with moods. I struggle with mood. I have worries or anxiety quite a bit in my life. I have a muffin top. I have a tricky time through perimenopause and menopause. I have histamine issues. I have brain fog. I struggle with low energy. I have frequent requests for naps. My stamina for work or tasks is waning. It's hard for me to get through things. I am wired and tired in the evenings. Oh gosh, that's me. I struggle with exhaustion. I have migraines and headaches, especially headaches that come at the back of the head here. I have low blood pressure. I feel dizzy when I stand up. I am losing sensitivity to insulin, or I have blood sugar balance issues. You may not necessarily know that you have an insulin sensitivity issue, but you have blood sugar balancing issues. It's one of the biggest drains on your adrenals, by the way. I have an autoimmune disorder. I have salt cravings. I want salty, crunchy things. I want to eat chips all day long. That was me yesterday because I forgot to eat lunch. I have insomnia. I have dry and scaly skin. I have allergies. I have cold hands and feet. My digestion isn't working well, or I find I can pick out the salad I had last night at dinner and my poop in the morning, or you bloat after meals. I have thyroid issues. I have temple pigmentation. It's a different pigmentation in and around the temples. It's very specifically linked to adrenals. So going now through that list, and I'll post a shorter version of this list later. You can take yourself through the list if you're joining us halfway through this list. How many did you say yes to? How many check marks did you get? Wherever you're watching this, jot it down in the comments below. So I'm going to say if you said yes to at least 3 of these, you're going to find some benefits in the Good Food Network this month. If you found 5 to 10, oh, you'll really find really good benefits in the Good Food Network. If you have more than 10 pieces that you've said yes to, if you have more than 10 check marks for yourself, then go ahead and register for the Good Food Network right now because you need it as of this morning. I'm being a bit dramatic and funny because goodness gracious, if I'm not anything but like bringing levity to things, because we need to find things funny. We need to bring back in the funny because that actually helps alleviate some of the stress. But really, truly, these are all indicators that your adrenals have been working hard for a long time. Quite a bit in this list. Like I get it. There's 26, 27 different things I've mentioned. So that's a lot. Yeah. Do you want to know the secret though? If you said yes to any of these, it means your adrenals are working for you, not against you. If you're struggling with any of these things, they are an indication that your body is moving between these two polar, like, okay, things are really good, things are bad. Oh, okay, moving back and forth. And your body is constantly adjusting, and your body will continue to adjust and find that middle ground for you. But with these symptoms, it's an indication that instead of balancing over the course of the day like this, you're kind of doing this. So it's a little bit more rocky and tumultuous. And that is what drains the adrenals. If you have this going on for a really long time, that's part of what happens in the body. Okay. Fun. Look at now, I'm really sad. No, don't be sad. Don't be sad. Okay. If you said yes to at least 5 of these things, and even like 3, I'm going to say even 3, but let's be honest, 5, at least 5, then there's a potential that your adrenals have been struggling for a long time. So this, in the picture of adrenals that have been struggling for a long time, there's a lot of different pieces contributing to the picture here, but essentially when the adrenals are letting us know through, I have histamine issues, or I have migraines all the time, or I have an autoimmune disorder, or I'm finding perimenopause and menopause transition really, really difficult. Or a 5th one could be, I have a lot of anxiety. Okay. These are all indicators your adrenals are working hard, so you get that piece. Do you know what else this tells us? It tells us that your metabolic health is off. It tells us that you have stress in the body. The more stress you have in the body, the more inflammation you have going on in the body. The more inflammation you have going on in the body, and the longer that goes on, now you also now potentially have autoimmune disorder, histamine issues, chronic disease, any kind of diagnosis, blood sugar imbalance. So all of these are indicators that your adrenals are working hard and they need your assistance. Your adrenals are not tuckered out. They're not fatigued. They're tired because they're working extra, but they are working quite hard. One of the reasons your adrenals tend to work quite hard is the more stress and inflammation you have in the body, the more you actually shut down your thyroid. It's part of what happens in the stress response. You trigger that stress response time and time again, you're going to start shutting down the thyroid. Your thyroid is an organ that lives just at the base of your neck, and it does a whole lot of different things regulating your metabolism. It is your main engine in the body. The more you trigger the stress response, the more you dampen her work. The more you dampen her work, the more you're turning off your engine. The more you turn off your main engine, now you have to go to your backup generator. What's your backup generator? Hint, it's the topic of the month. Adrenals. Yeah. We're actually going to be specifically talking about why when thyroid troubles are around, it's actually an adrenal issue, or why when you have adrenal issues, it's actually a thyroid trouble. We'll be talking about that this week if you're in the network. We'll be going a little bit deeper. So this is what happens. Long-term prodding of this stress in the body goes up and up and up. The more it goes up, the more you dampen your thyroid. The more you dampen your thyroid, now your metabolism slows down. And now your adrenals have to pick up the slack. They are that backup generator. And the more you have to work on your backup generator, the more you're climbing uphill constantly. It's not an easy route. You're climbing uphill all the time. And the more you climb uphill, like, you know, you can do uphill for a bit, sure. Like imagine if you're out on your bike, or imagine you're out for a run. You can climb uphill, yeah. You see that hill coming, you're like, okay, mentally prepare yourself. That hill is going to be a bit of a climb. I'm going to be okay. Or if you're cross-country skiing or whatever, right? But you know that the hill is going to end. And then you know that as you climb the hill, then there's going to be a really nice, easy descent, you hope. And you hope it's not too steep on the other side. So it's not going to be too hard on your knees if you're like me, because your knees hurt. But you're assuming that the hill is going to stop and then you'll have a really nice, slow descent afterwards. That's not the case with adrenal stuff. Adrenal stuff, you are constantly climbing up a hill. And that's why the adrenals, that's why they call it adrenal fatigue. They're not tired and not working for you. They're just constantly working at climbing the hill. They're not getting a break. And they'll continue to do so because your body is hardwired for you to live and survive. So thanks, body. But do you know that you can, through nutrition, why I love nutrition is through nutrition, you can put in some pieces in place so you stop constantly climbing the hill. So you can actually plateau a little bit and then not be working so hard on your adrenals. There's a lot of nutrition pieces we can do, especially in adrenals. There's actually a lot of lifestyle things you can do, which is really beneficial. And that's actually the crux of everything that we're talking about in the Good Food Network this month. Okay, so now that you understand how your adrenals tucker out, if you're curious to know how we do this, why nutrition might be beneficial. So once your metabolism is off, once the thyroid is hampered, now you start to put the drain on the adrenals. Now the adrenals are kind of your main engine instead of your backup generator. Now they're starting to get really tired. When this goes on for a really long time, your symptoms show up. Migraines, what have I got here? Exhaustion, wired and tired after dinner, salt cravings, dry and scaly skin, allergies, struggling with fatigue. You feel stress keenly, where like your emotions are really quite brittle. Those kinds of things are the body going, I've been going uphill and my engine is tired. Yeah. Okay. Fun. That's how we know your adrenals are asking for help. So let's flip that around. How do we support the adrenals then? We actually support the adrenals by going back and addressing that metabolic health, by reducing the stress in the body, by, I've got it written down here, reduce what's driving the chronic stress levels that are increasing in the body, by reducing the blood sugar imbalances. Nutrition is the best at that. There is nothing that quite meets how nutrition can help balance your blood sugars. We reduce what's contributing to your autoimmune expression in the body. Yeah. We reduce inflammation in the body. That's how you support the adrenals. That's the secret. Supporting the adrenals is reducing inflammation. Oh, but no one's going to find that sexy. Reduce inflammation, Luca, but I don't have joint pain. It's amazing to me how many people think that inflammation is just joint pain. Is it joint pain? Yep, totally. Is it more than joint pain? Oh my God, there's like 50,000 things that tell us your body's got inflammation. Maybe I need to do inflammation next, Luca. Okay, maybe. Anyway, this is how we address the adrenals. You support all of those pieces that have been working for so hard that are contributing to the fact that your body's climbing uphill all the time and relying on your adrenals. Oh, okay. So I'm going to take you through the network and I'm going to show you how we do that this month, because every month, some of this stuff shifts. Now, for those who are joining us a little bit later, we are now doing 2 months on a topic instead of just trying to cram it all into 1 month. So you've got a little bit more time to be able to get through the content and take a bit more of a leisurely pace, because that's the secret of looking after your adrenals. If I don't do it in the month of adrenals, like, come on. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. We're going to share it here. Sorry, it's going to be a bit trippy. Okay, now we're going to go here. Okay, and I think I have to make it bigger because it makes it a little bit better. I'm going to collapse the video. Pardon me. Bear with me for a second. There we go. So here we are. This is what your portal looks like when you get into where the Good Food Network is hosted. So it's $55 a month is the cost. You can stay in as many months as you want. When you want off and you don't want to be in the network anymore, you send me a message. You say, I want out at the end of this month. And then I take you out. It's that simple. So once you're in here, there's a bunch of different things. Here are the Zoom calls for anything that has to do with the network. So orientation call is what's going on. We've got a food as medicine quick weekly video coming up this Thursday. Next week, there's a live monthly class. When it comes time to join, all you have to do is click on this little camera icon, so it makes it easy. Now, we are going to go into programs, and we're looking at GF Network. Just look for the word network, and this is where the network is. So there's a lot of different moving pieces to this. I tried to organize it in a way that would make sense. So allow me to take you through that. So here we've got kind of the administrative stuff, the information about the network up first. And then the network itself has 3 components. There are live sessions. There are pre-recorded classes that you can access whenever you want. And we've got written content. So there's live stuff happening in the moment, kind of like live TV when you used to rush down to watch, I don't know, The Cosby Show at 8 o'clock on Thursday night on CTV. Or was that just me? No, probably not. Not the majority of people who are in the network. It's totally a Thursday thing. So think of the live content as that live TV from when you were a kid. Think of pre-recorded content as the new way of doing things, how it's on demand. I want to watch it right now. I'm going to go watch it right now, press start. It's like on-demand TV. It's like all of the streaming services that are out there that are not going to be named because you know which ones you've got, and they don't need my help in advertising. That's right. So this is the pre-recorded content you can access whenever you want. There's written content where there's no videos. It's really just printables, if you will. So I'm going to take you through all of these. First, let's start with the recipes, because that's just so lovely. So anybody who has signed up to receive the 5 recipes a month, I have a recipe subscription service. These are the recipes. So we just started this on January 1st, but they are also available in the network. You get them for free, essentially, when you're in the network. So the recipes for this month are miso squash sage greens, Korean pulled beef, stuffed portobello mushrooms, and lentil red pepper hummus, and a dandy brew hold a calf. hold the caffeine. And they're all down here, so you get to download them to your computer or your tablet, print them up, and then add them to your kitchen. These are all recipes with the adrenals in mind. Root vegetables, amazing for adrenals. Protein, essential actually for adrenals. And in fact, I think lack of protein is one of the drivers of adrenal issues. Stuffed portobello mushrooms, a really perfect winter meal that is very warming and rich in some of those nutrients you need for your adrenals to work. We're essentially giving fuel for that train to keep going uphill. That's what these recipes are. That's why nutrition's the best. See what I'm saying? Lentil red pepper hummus. Lentils are one of the best foods for your adrenals, but only if they're properly activated. Well, that step is written in and worked into the recipe. Dandy brew, hold the calf. Yeah, it turns out caffeine can drain your adrenals. But I really love my morning cup of Luca. Then you go with a dandy brew, but you hold the caffeine. Oh, it's something called dandy blend. It tastes like essentially, I'll call it instant coffee. It's not instant coffee like the $1.49 jar you buy at the grocery store. This is the stuff that's going to support what's at the root of why your adrenals are having a hard time. So these are your recipes for the month. Now, the other written content down here is every season, we explore what is current to that season. From a traditional Chinese medicine point of view, really out of interest sake, what's happening in winter? There's a video here that explains everything. And then we've got handouts and recipes. So there's more recipes in here. So for those who are in the network, make sure you're printing this stuff up. This stuff stays in the network for 3 months and it renews every 3 months. The date of when it'll disappear is always in the module, so you don't have to guess. So make sure you print up the recipe bundle. Here we are talking about, I think we're talking about adrenals, but must be, obviously. Yes, so we are focusing on what some of those seasonal foods are. Then we're talking about superfoods, teas, roots and shoots, herbs and spices. On kidney and adrenal supportive foods, what is the main organ? What is the main energy of the season? And then 5 things to set out for yourself, kind of as goal setting for the winter season. So this is a place where you can go to for a little bit of, if you're thinking, I don't even know where to start. How about this? Go to the winter recipe bundle in the handout part. Here you've got 5 ways to think about moving through the season and start working those pieces in. Okay, I'm going to go back. These are your written content. So those are the 2 you have access to. Let's first talk about how to navigate through the network. Okay, for those who are going to be joining this month for the first time, welcome. Oh my God, I can't wait to see you in there. PS. We're going to take 2 months to work through adrenal stuff. We might even extend it to 3 months if people are saying, no, I actually need 3 months, Luca. For those who are going to be in the network, I will always serve those who are in the network first. So whatever you want this to be is what it will be. I will build the content that you are requesting. So if you're in the network right now and you're like, gosh, yes, please do 3 months, just pop it in the comments wherever you're watching this, in the chat function on the Zoom, if you're joining us live there, wherever, it doesn't matter. Okay, Start Here Kitten gives you the rundown of what is in the network. So when you first join the network, always start with this module. It's going to give you an orientation to the whole module. This will tell you where to find stuff, how to think about this, how to move through it, lots of different pieces. This is the orientation call we're doing right now. I will link out to it so you can watch it again. And then down here are the different parts. So we've got the live sessions. That's kind of like the live network TV when you were a kid growing up. Then we've got the pre-recorded content, which is access right now to the suite. I want to watch a streaming service. Oh, you get Luca TV. A little bit, sorry, a little bit not. Written content. These are the things you can access and print up. So this will help direct you where to find the different things. Now, in terms of what we're doing for the month of January specifically, I have a schedule here in the schedule for January module. So here's your schedule. You can watch it. You can just access it here to see it, or you can download a printable and put it on your corkboard in your office or wherever it is you watch your videos. I always have one printed up so that I know what's coming up this week so I can be on top of it. And this will really highlight the live sessions. So every little bit of written content here is something happening in the network. There's at least one session a week. Most weeks there's 2 of these live sessions. So refer to this for the live stuff coming up. This is the part I really like though. Checklist for the month. This is to help you make sure you're using the network to full extent. When you join the network, first things first, you're going to go to this module, start here. Then you go to the schedule and checklist and you print this off. This is a visual, but you can download the PDF version here and print it. So you've got it in front of you. When you print it off, these are all the different moving pieces. So here's first things first. Luca, you're overwhelming. Yeah, I know. I am, but you know what? You were also overwhelmed. So there, you know, it can come across as overwhelming, and you're correct, it is. So my job is in saying, oh yeah, I know it's overwhelming. So here are tools for you. And part of the work, especially when it comes to adrenals, is to give you tools, and I better be doing it right. If I'm not, I'll keep tweaking, and I welcome feedback on this. If I give you the tools and say, I know it's overwhelming, what are you going to do with it? Here's how you approach this. You print up your checklist. And I like to think of the Good Food Network as, I've said this before, sorry if I'm a broken record. I think of the Good Food Network as a buffet, a smorgasbord. So for example, when you go to the buffet with your family, if there's 6 of you, you sit down to the buffet and you grab your plates and you go to where all the food is. Do you put everything that's under the glass on the buffet on your plate? No, you don't. Do you have the exact same plate as your dad who's sitting in the chair next to you? No, you don't. He's got a totally different plate than you do. You've got a very different array of things. So this is what the Good Food Network is. It's a buffet, friend. It's a buffet, and you get to choose what you're going to put on your plate. This is your menu, essentially. And the first thing you do, once you find your way around the network, once you've joined and you're like, okay, I can find my way around. I found the written content. I found all the other pieces. Now I need to make my decision and draw my own roadmap or set up my own checklist or look at the menu and choose what I'm going to eat this month. I don't care which analogy you use. They kind of all fit. Good Food Network checklist. What's on in January, Luca? First things first, you're going to highlight the ones that you want to do. Circle the ones you want to do. For example, I think one of the best ones is the Vitality Adrenals class. So here you're going to put, you're maybe going to circle it or highlight it or say, I want to do. Jot it down on your piece of paper so that you know you are going to be planning to put that on your plate. Balancing moods and anxiety. Okay, well, you know what? I actually don't struggle with moods and I do not have anxiety. So I actually don't want to join that class. I don't think I need it. So scratch it off or mark it already completed because you're actually not going to do it. Scratch off what you don't want to put on your plate. Start by highlighting the things you want. Then go in and cross out the ones you don't want. Like, for example, I don't want to know how to eat with the seasons. That's too much information. I feel like my plate is overflowing and I'm going to be overfull. Scratch it out, honey. Take it off. I don't care. It's there if you want it. It's there if you want some direction on how to move through this season, but take it off. Or another way you can think of this too is, out of all of these, I'm going to number which is the first one I want to tend to. What's the second? Put in maybe the order of the priority. And you can jot this down in this space right here. So for example, okay, I want to watch Vitality Adrenals class. I'm going to put that as number 1. Okay. Scratch cooking pizza prep. God, I love pizza. There's a recorded cooking class, Luca? Yeah, an hour and a half long. We do pizza prep. Ooh, I love pizza. I totally want to know how to make homemade pizza. I only ever order out. Is there a healthy way to make pizza? Yes, there is. Friend, this is not just eating kale and beans and lentils. Oh my God, no. So maybe number 2. Oh, those live food as medicine classes on Thursday morning. I can't join at 7 a.m. Oh, but I can catch the replays. I might put that as number 3. Okay, sounds great. Navigating fats. No, fats are really bad for you. I can't watch Navigating Fats. I don't eat fats. Fats are super nourishing. And in fact, when it comes to adrenals, it's one of the best nutrients for your adrenals. It creates safety in the body. Oh, maybe you should put that on your list. So there's lots of different pieces here. So your first order of business is to print this up and choose the order of importance. Might I recommend the Vitality Adrenals class? It's going to be there for 2 months. So make sure that this is in the list, because this is the jewel of being in the Good Food Network. The class itself is $50. Actually, it might even be going up to $60 because the price has changed on everything else. It's time I start changing my prices. So the cost of the network is worth this class alone. So think of it that way. Everything else is a bonus. So make sure you watch the adrenals class. It's about 2 hours and a bit in length. It's broken down into many different parts, so you can watch piece by piece as you wish. So all of these, what is going to be the first thing you watch? Scratch out the things you don't want to watch. I don't want to join the live class. I don't want to do the biweekly office hours. I don't have any questions about what I'm doing. Okay, so scratch those off. Or prioritize taking your lunch at noon on Tuesdays. Come join me. You can bring food. I don't care. The weekly office hours is just me sitting around waiting for people to join, and you get to ask questions on, hey, I went through the adrenals class and I've got questions. Or, so I'm really struggling with, let's find one of those symptoms. My stamina for work and my tasks is waning. When I did those questions at the beginning, how many things do I have that tell me I have adrenal stuff? That's the biggest one. What can I do to help me build stamina for my work? That's where I'm really struggling. Then we'll sit down, we'll bandy about ideas. So plan on joining the Tuesday office hours. It happens only twice in the month. Used to be every week. That was too much. Now we've reduced it. This is great. I have one gal who's been coming religiously for the last month at least, and it's just me and her. So she gets a full hour of goal setting and figuring out how to move forward with the pieces she wants from what she's exploring in the Good Food Network. So consider that. Okay, this is your schedule and your checklist. Again, you can view. In order to print it, you just hit download to your downloads folder and print it from there. Okay. All right, that's the schedule. Our main topic is adrenals. All of these questions I started the session with today are in there, so you can check that out. If you have any questions about your network subscription, you click here. When you want to leave the network, this is where you'll find the information is in here. It'll tell you how to let me know so I can stop payments, so we can take you out, so that you make sure that you've got everything you want and print it up before you exit the network, those kinds of pieces. Now let's go into the live session. So this is like the network TV when you were a kid, right? Thursday night Cosby show. Yeah, this is the Luca show. It's not as funny, I'm sorry. I don't have a team of writers, okay? It's just me fueled by tea. Okay, we have 3 live sessions. We have the bi-weekly office hours. We have food as medicine, and we have the live class this month. Bi-weekly office hours are 2 Tuesdays a month. In January, we're doing it on January 17th and January 31st. Everybody who's in the network can come and join. You can come for 20 minutes. You can come for the full hour. It starts at noon on Tuesdays. And I don't know, I guess I could show you this. I just don't want to overwhelm you. So what I'll tell you what's in there. Bi-weekly office hours is essentially just find the link on Tuesday, January 17th, on Tuesday, January 31st. Click on the join link. And if you can't join live, send your questions in beforehand. I will answer them, and there's a replay available. So if Tuesdays at noon, you cannot join, you can't take your lunch break on Tuesdays at noon, send in your questions. It tells you how to do that. And then we'll answer them and you can watch the replay. The link to the replay and everything to do with bi-weekly office hours is in there. I will show you this one, food is medicine on adrenals. So yep, we're talking about adrenals in January and February. So for our first month, these are the topics that we'll be covering. This happens every Thursday at 7 a.m. And there's a replay if you can't join us. So you can come for breakfast. Do you notice how I'm doing these at meal times? Yes. I won't do it at supper though. Sorry, supper needs to be with your family. So breakfast, Thursday mornings at 7 a.m. Each Thursday in January, we are talking about adrenals. The first one, why adrenal stuff is really thyroid troubles in disguise. Top 3 foods for adrenals. The curious link between low energy, fatigue, and adrenals. Roots and shoots for adrenals. Okay. They're 15, 20 minutes. They're actually 20 minutes. And then the replay links are below. So as soon as they are available, then it's very clear. It'll say here, now available, click on the image. You just click on this guy and you'll get the replay. That's easy. I know. They disappear at the end of the month, by the way. A lot disappears by the end of the month. So you want to make sure you stay on top of these things. Our live class this month is Balancing Moods and Anxiety. And it's a full hour class, hour and a half actually, on Wednesday, January 11th at 9 a.m. And yes, there is a replay. So fret not. If you can't join us live, then you'll be able to watch it. And we're talking about how balancing moods and anxiety is actually adrenals. And it's a very specific piece of adrenal health. And we'll be going through ways to put pieces in place to support yourself. There's always your to-do homework to every piece here. The pre-recorded content, this is your on-demand. This is your streaming service, if you will. So we've got 3 different things. These are all classes that I actually just built the Vitality Adrenals class, but the others are ones I did a while back, and we switch it up every month. So the first one is navigating fats. So we're going into why fats are so helpful. It's a half-hour class. So you need 30, 40 minutes tops. You sit and there's a printout and you work through a worksheet while you're watching the video. And then you get a better understanding of what fats are. And it turns out this is very beneficial because we're talking about adrenals. Fats are one of the best foods for adrenals, but specific fats. You'll learn which specific fats in this class. The next class is a part of my Vitality series, understanding what your adrenals are, understanding why you have adrenal issues, pinpointing for yourself what is driving your adrenal troubles, and then those solutions to get you out of there. And there's 5 solutions at the end of the class. I think there's actually 4 recipes this time around. So lots of good stuff in this Vitality Adrenals class. This is going to be around for the month of January and February. We've got a scratch cooking class. We're doing pizza prep in January. We will do pizza assembly in February. So we're doing a whole pizza party. And it's built that way. This was originally a class I taught for junior high kids. And there are 10 in the series. But we did pizza prep on one Friday. And then we built the pizzas the week after. We do a sourdough kind of dough for those who are consuming gluten. We do a pre-baked cassava flour for those who are going a paleo route. So there's the option for everybody. And we prep a lot of the pieces in the first week so that in week 2, we make the pizza. So that's what's happening in these on-demand classes. You got 3 to choose from. You can watch all 3 if you want. At least go in and print the recipes, could you? And then those written modules. So that is what is in the Good Food Network this month. Live class, food is medicine, our office hours twice a month. Here's that schedule and checklist. And I'll tell you, let me see if I can I can zoom in and I think you get to see that. So there's what our January looks like. So take a peek there. So you'll see every Thursday morning is that food as medicine class. So that is 20 minutes, starts at 7 on the dot. I always have a cup of coffee with me and children leaving this house for their choir practice in the morning. Then we have, Wednesday the 11th, Balancing Moods and Anxieties, our class. Then we've got weekly office hours on the Tuesday the 17th and Tuesday the 31st. So when you sign up for the Good Food Network, you get the Zoom links for all of these. You also have access to the replay for all of these courses. Everything that's here on the schedule has a replay available. Didn't used to, but now it does. By request, people asking for it. Okay, there we go. So that is what's happening in January. So I want to know from you, what are the pieces that really speak to you? What was the first piece? What do you think from that list of checklist? What is the first thing that you would want to tend to? Think about it. Give it a second. You can jot it in the chat below or the comments below, wherever you're catching this. It's the replay on YouTube or on Facebook, or you're catching us live. Jot down, what is that first piece you want to do in the network this month? This is how you do it. Yeah, it's a buffet. Yeah, it feels like you got 82,000 different things to pick from. Oh my God, how am I going to make it through? Do you know what? The work of figuring out how you're going to make it through is actually part of the medicine for your adrenals. So you're welcome. I print the checklist up, and then you go look to see what's on the menu. You're going to choose which order you want to do things. Scratch out the pieces you don't feel you want to attend to this month because it's just too much. Prioritize. And then plan to set aside 1 hour a week. It takes diligence and it takes sticking to it, but I think you're going to find really good benefit in dedicating an hour a week. It's ginger in my throat. More ginger tea. Ooh. And sticking to that 1 hour a week. So I recommend, do you have a certain time of the week where it can be like, I'm going back to school. And my school time is, I don't know, Mondays at 7 p.m. Excellent. Every Monday at 7 p.m. Once the dinner dishes are put away and everyone's got what they need, 7 o'clock, you're in the office and you're plugging away till 8 p.m. And every Tuesday or every Monday night at 7, that's where you're going to go in and plug into those pieces. Go piece by piece on what you chose from the menu that you would like to tend to this month. All right, we just heard from somebody in the network actually who wants to attend to low energy and brain fog. Okay, so low energy and brain fog, totally adrenal things. The best first place to tend to is to print up the recipes. And when you print the recipes, have the intention of making them, because it's one thing to print, but it's another thing to make them. Can you prioritize sometime on the weekend to make one of the recipes? You know, it has to be fairly quick and easy foods during the week. I get it. I'm in the same boat for sure. But on the weekend, could you dedicate some time to preparing some of those recipes? Because those are the foods that nourish your adrenals. And instead of seeing it as a chore, could you see it as an invitation of creating your own food as medicine? And notice, what does the food taste like? What does it look like? What does it smell like? What do you feel when you're putting it together? Another thing you can think of is, where did all of this food come from? Who grew it? What was the field like? What kind of season did the sweet potato have? Who harvested it? Who was the truck driver? Who was the grocer who decided they would buy sweet potatoes? How did I know to go to the store to get sweet potatoes and connect with the cashier at the end? Like, thinking of all the people in the echelon of how that food got to you and how you are part of that connection as well. Could that be part of your homework for the month of January? Maybe. Does the word homework scare you? No, it's work you do in your home. Being a human takes work. Why don't we make it delicious and yummy and fun? That miso sage squash roasted greens. I don't know, it's a long name, but that's the first recipe you get. Oh my gosh, that's a weekend recipe Tootsie. It'll take you 10 minutes to assemble and 45 minutes or an hour maybe to roast. So it's not something you do on a Monday night between hockey practice and piano lessons. No, of course not. But if you make it on Saturday, it makes a lot, then you bring those to Monday night's dinner, the leftovers, with, instead of chicken that you had on Saturday, now you have pork chops on the barbecue. Great, we're done. What? Dinner. I know. And you nourished your adrenals in the meantime. Well, that's pretty cool. So maybe that could be one of your options for the week. So the way to make Good Food Network work for you is to dedicate an hour a week, use the checklist, prioritize 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, what the pieces are that you want to do, and then carve a weekly time that's yours, always tending on that Monday night or on Saturday morning at 8 a.m. or on Sunday at 8 p.m. or Thursday night. I don't know, or if, well, Fridays I get off. I actually work Monday to Thursday. Fridays are always my day to do stuff around the house. Why not after the kids are sent to school at 9 a.m., then you sit down and that's when you do your hour in the network. It takes dedication and it takes you showing up. The work doesn't happen unless you show up. Yeah, true. But I'm promising you there's going to be fat jokes, because I'm big. I mean, fart jokes. There's going to be fart jokes. Always there's fart jokes. Always there's levity. Always there is the painting of the picture so you can get a deeper comprehension. Because my goal is to help you connect with the food, but help you connect with you. Understand and appreciate that your body is in this brilliant, wonderful mid survival / hustle / choosing to live. You are always marvelously adapting. And that's actually what the adrenals do. They help you adapt to what's going on. And if they're adapting all of the time, do you know what helps take a bit of the stress off of them? Is to laugh. So there's always going to be levity at every turn in the Good Food Network, I promise. Okay, the recipes don't have jokes in them, but you can pretend I'm joking with you as we're cooking it in your kitchen. How about that? Okay, good. So that's what is available in the network this month. If you have any questions about the content, about how to access it, about how to make this a doable thing, I want you to reach out. I have free 15-minute chats. Why don't we figure out if it's something that might work for you? If you feel like, okay, I absolutely need to support my adrenals, Luca, but it feels like I wouldn't even know where to start in the network, reach out. Reach out, book in for a free 15-minute consult. I will actually let me put a note down. I will put a link wherever you're watching this. If you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook, I will put a free 15-minute chat book in where you can a link where you can just click and you can book in for a free 15-minute chat. And let's get you figured out. In addition to this, if the network feels like it's too much, I will tell you what I'm now doing. I was thinking about this yesterday. That Vitality Adrenals class, I just did a blood sugar balancing one and got really great feedback from the people who took it. And I'm going to work it into a group class. So I'm going to run that in February. So if that's the only piece you want is just that Vitality Adrenals class, we're going to run it as a group class where you watch the content on your own, but then we'll all meet up and do some problem solving and solution sort of piece. So that's going to happen in February. So if that feels like that's actually the only piece I want, Luca, then let's just do that in February. Spoiler alert, everyone in the Good Food Network will have access to that as well. Of course you will. Everybody in the network gets access to all of the pieces they want so that they can take ownership and start building their own security. So they're not dependent on someone else spoon feeding it to them. You are taking ownership, and that's actually where the magic lies. When you take ownership and when you're ready to, not when you're overwhelmed, that doesn't work. When you're ready to take ownership. I'm holding your hand the entire way and I give you handouts and hints so that you can make your own decisions. I do not make the decisions for you. You do, and I encourage you to. And I'll call you on it, and I will meet you at least once every 2 weeks to remind you that you can do it. Yeah, because this is what magic is about. Magic is in the food. The magic is in the connection. The magic is in the consistency. The magic is in taking those small steps. And that's actually part of the magic of creating safety. You know, your adrenals are tuckered out because your body doesn't feel safe on some level. So let's create safety. Good Food Network creates safety. Good Food Network connects you with the food. Good Food Network is for you. So I'm going to drop a link to the network as well. If you want to join the network, you get to join us whenever you want. And as soon as you join, you get instant access. You're in as right there, like 5 seconds later. All you have to do is follow the email that you get. And if you've taken classes with me before, it might be a bit easier. If you haven't, follow the emails. I leave you a trail of breadcrumbs so you can find your way, I promise. You also get something a day later that says, are you having a hard time finding your way around the network? Hey, look, here's a video to show you how to use it. Oh, I know. You're never left in the dark with me, ever. And if you are, you reach out with a question and then I answer it. And I usually get back to you within a day. So never will you ever have to do this journey by yourself, but you will have to take ownership. And I'm very clear about that. So when you're ready, I can't wait to see you. So I look forward to seeing you in the Good Food Network. If you have any further questions, don't be shy. Pop them down in the comments below and I will get back to you. Thanks for joining me in the network, everybody. Salut et à bientôt.